part 1 of the epilogue of Crime and Punishment, it's 9 months later, and Raskolnikov is in a Siberian prison. Now, at his trial, he told what he did in detail and didn't make excuses for his actions. Evidence emerged that Raskolnikov is capable of good. Razumikhine shared that his friend had a habit of giving money to strangers. His landlord testified that he once rescued children from a burning building. So his final sentence is actually pretty lenient, only 8 years. Pulcheria suffers from fever and delirium, living in a world of her own, insisting that her son will visit her soon, and telling anyone who will listen, even strangers on the street, that Raskolnikov has a brilliant future. Just before she dies, she indicates that she knows the truth about his crimes. Dunya and Razumikhine marry and plan to relocate to Siberia in a few years. Sonia has followed Raskolnikov there and works as a seamstress, visiting him frequently. In prison, Raskolnikov is depressed and shuts himself off from everyone. He asks himself what he has to live for when he gets out. He barely reacts to the news of his mother's death. At first, he's angry at Sonia for her daily visits, but he eventually comes to depend on them. However, the other prisoners dislike Raskolnikov for reasons he doesn't understand. He also becomes seriously ill. In part 2 of the epilogue of Crime and Punishment, Raskolnikov still hangs on to the idea that the murders were not really a crime. He just was not enough of an exceptional man. His pride had been stung to the quick. It was wounded pride that made him ill. He still cannot truly repent, and he thinks his real crime was deciding to confess. But Raskolnikov has rejected suicide because a part of him could see the possibility of redemption and new life. One day, the other prisoners attack him, claiming he doesn't believe in God and ought to be killed. However, they adore Sonia. She helps them deliver messages and gifts to and from their families, and they admire her strength and how she carries herself. While he is ill, he dreams the world is infected with a disease that makes people believe their ideas are infallible, and their fighting causes a global war and the complete breakdown of society. This imaginary worldwide plague may be an allegory Dostoevsky used for the spread of dangerous ideas he witnessed actually taking place in Russian culture. Raskolnikov also becomes deeply upset when Sonia does not visit for a few days. Luckily, she's just been sick with a bad cold. Days later, Raskolnikov is working outside when Sonia arrives. He takes her hand gladly, not reluctantly as usual. Suddenly, all of his love pours out, and he throws himself at Sonia's feet. Later, he wonders if he can believe in religion, as she does. The narrator tells us Raskolnikov's suffering is not over, but the story of his crimes and imprisonment is. However, he is beginning a new story. A story of the gradual renewal of a man, the story of his gradual regeneration, of his passing from one world into another, of his initiation into a new, unknown life.